All right, guys. Hey, I'm so excited to be able to have Jake Christensen over at Integrity and Thomas Arts with us. They've been working on this project for quite some time now, and we've had an ability to be able to actually see it live. Um, and what I wanted to do was, most of us pay for tools to make our business life a little easier, right? We have insurance toolkits, we have Calendly, we have all these softwares that are there to make our life easy. And Integrity has been building something for us, and Jake's been leading that charge, and he's going to be sharing with us how, this tool is going to be able to assist brand new agents, veteran agents, how to have a smoother transition in their business. You know what I mean? So, Jake, I'm so excited to report back to you that three agents yesterday at the lock-in used Life Center to actually make their final expense sale. So I'm excited for you to be able to share this with us. And a lot of the agents that we have here obviously can't hop on because they're making their calls right now, but this call is being recorded. We're going to be sharing it amongst all our platforms. So thank you so much for taking the time out today to be able to share this with us.
Absolutely. Always happy to, Stephen, like we've talked several times, we've had a few of these. Anytime I'm happy to jump on and appreciate you guys. So yeah, as Stephen said, I'm Jake Christensen. I'm the Senior Director of Product. I lead software product planning strategy for Integrity. So all of the software that Integrity provides, my team designs, plans, strategizes, follow up. I love the music going into this, and that photo, Stephen. At some point, every time I share it, I'm like, am I going to have to pay Disney a licensing fee at some point because I have that R2D2? But yeah. So I'm going to share several things about this software. It's available now, as Stephen said, it's available free of charge. One thing that I like to start out with is with Integrity and how we approach our software. It's very different than most of the folks out there doing the quoting tools or the software tools. That they're all software service. They want to charge you your monthly fees. That's how they build their company. We care about making sure that people can write business. And so we don't charge those fees because we want people to write and write more. So it is an advantage. It gives you guys access to tools that, otherwise either cost money or take a lot of time to integrate. And then the other thing to call out, and Stephen, you got to see hopefully a little bit firsthand yesterday. My team very, very much wants to hear from you guys and get kind of as we go. We've got stuff we're excited about, some great stuff that provides some power, especially to those that are either new or getting started, or those that have written for a while. But we have a saying with Integrity that we cover everywhere, and it's for agents by agents. So as you guys look at this software, as you use it, as you get into it, provide feedback. We took some stuff from yesterday, Stephen. I've already got the team rocking and rolling on our conversation. So I'm very excited. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If folks can give me a thumbs up that should be right. Okay. You see it?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. So this is Life Center. So Life Center is a platform we've created, and I'll actually talk about a couple of different options that it has in it. It's an integrated platform, but it was built specifically to try and take as much of the core effort, the core work stream that you guys go through on a daily basis, that agents go through, and streamline it so that you can do it all in one place. And move from kind of the lead gathering to any communications to keeping yourself organized to then running the quotes, submitting business right here, seeing the policy details, and then things like marketing, things like communications to stay in touch and follow up. So there's a few different things this does. It has CRM features, it has marketing automation features, it has quote features, but we've put it all together in one platform and integrated it. And then as I go through this, everything that I'm going to talk about, with one exception that I can call out, is also available on a mobile app, native. So you guys can download it. You can be doing all these things if you're out and about, if you're at an event, if you're meeting with someone, you can track your contacts, submit business, run quotes from our mobile application as well. So the platform breaks down kind of into three pieces as far as being able to support your business. The first one is generating leads or capturing leads or kind of bringing leads into the system. So when you register with Life Center, which Like I said, it's free of charge. You can get to it through Lead Center. You can get to it through integrity.com. You get issued a dedicated personal phone number to use for it, a professional phone number, as well as a website to be able to use for it. And I'll talk more about those in just a minute, but that lets you share that information, calls made to that phone number. You can decide where it routes, and they will be captured, tracked, logged, everything into the system and associated with the contact for you. If you share that website, it's going to take your selling permissions, so what you can sell, the contracts you have, and it's going to allow prospects, people to go and run quotes, look at what options there are, and then there's forms, capture forms on there that they can fill out that will create them as a lead for you in here, so you can share that around, share that with friends and family, and it lets you build up kind of word of mouth referrals and leads. The other big thing is that this is fully integrated with Lead Center. So any purchases or anything made on Lead Center those leads will get automatically created in the contacts, the CRM here. And then lastly, if you use an external system to do lead gen or lead dialing lists, those sorts of things, you can import leads and contacts directly into this system very quickly, easily by clicking this, and load up all your records, and then that information can be used for everything else that I'll show. So with that, with everyone, all that information coming in, there's a lot you can do, but I'm gonna focus on that in a minute. I'm actually gonna jump over and talk about the quoting just a little bit and how that works. So as I mentioned, this has a CRM, and if you guys have questions as I go, by the way, feel free to ask them. Let me know, shout out, unmute. I will talk about this for as long as Stephen lets me talk about it. It's something I'm very passionate about. My team is very passionate about. But if you guys have questions, please let me know. So with getting those leads in, so whether you generate them, whether people go to your personal website that you get, or if you go in and upload them, when you do so, it'll create one of these contact records. And I'm actually my favorite one to use is John Connor here. So this contact record is going to allow me to pull any information that I have on John Connor from the lead. If I've talked to John, I can capture that information here ahead of time. This basically keeps track of John for me and gives me a history with him. So perhaps I got him as a lead. I gave him a call. He said, yeah, let me think about it. Give me a call back in a day or 2 days. I can set a reminder to do that and give him a call back. I can also see all of our interactions that we've had back and forth and keep track of it there. And then when I'm ready to start a quote, there's a couple different ways I can do that. One, if I have spent time talking to John, everyone has kind of a different sales process. If you go fast, we have what we call a quick quote. So if you're burning through lists, I can show you how that works. If you got higher quality, more qualified leads that you're reaching out to each of them a few times, then you can capture this information ahead of time so that when John's ready to actually make his decision on his policy, you've already got it all. So if I come in here to health profile ahead of time, I'm able to capture stuff that if I want to do a quick field underwriting, I can, that it might need. Like I can capture conditions, I can get prescriptions. We use that to help you find conditions. I can capture things like gender, age, some of those things. John Connor in this case is 6'6". I don't think he was actually 6'6" in Terminator, but I can capture those things ahead of time and then start a quote. If I do that here, it's going to pull all this information in, and I'll go ahead and do it. And so it's pulled in the information from John's profile, and then I can add any other health conditions if I want to. If I'm trying to make absolutely sure, we will check and help kind of filter through and say what people qualify for. So I can put diabetes in here if I want to. I'm not going to, because that filters out a lot of plans. And then I can continue to a quote. It's going to take all that information from John, and it's going to run it against several different carriers that we have in here, as well as checking your selling permissions and give you a set of options. And those options all will indicate pre-screening. So if there's pre-screen information, we'll share it. You can also go and show the excluded plans. So if what I filled out for John resulted in plans that he didn't qualify for, I can see that and see why. And then ultimately from here, I can also change my coverage amount that I'm wanting to, talking to John, if he wants a different coverage amount, not $25. I can change that and it will update all the information, show the monthly premium, or I can put in the specific monthly premium we're looking for and it'll do the same. And that's all pulling all of that information live. Then when I'm ready to enroll, I'm going to switch. I'm in our demo environment. So I'm going to switch to a live environment here so I can show you guys what happens. One moment. Oops, there we go. So when I'm ready to enroll, from that same view, this is my new record in our production environment I'm showing. You can click the plan you're ready to enroll in with the client. And we have single sign-on and in many cases, application pre-fill with all of these carriers. We don't have the app pre-fill with all of them, but at a minimum, we have SSO and app pre-fill with many of them. So that means I've clicked that from that account. It's pulling through the name, the information I put in, the plan details, everything I've selected, and I'm able to pick right up from the Mutual of Omaha application here and continue forward. It's associated to me.
Jake, I want to piggyback on that real quick.
Yeah.
We had a brand new agent that was on Zoom the other day, and they couldn't make a sale because they didn't know how to log into the carrier because they haven't created carrier logins or they forgot their password or whatever it is. And for those of you that recruit and build a big team, that happens frequently, right? And so like they might be using toolkits or whatever it is, and it says, "Oh, go to Transamerica." They like log into Transamerica. They go, "I don't know my login. I haven't created a login. I don't know where to click. I don't know where to go." This solves that because when they click apply, like whether it's America, Trans, Move, whatever it is, it goes directly into the app, and it's already logged in for them, and the client's information is already there. At that point, you really just got to like gather the missing information, health, banking, social, stuff like that. And then we're done. Like this will save you so much time and it's going to increase productivity because of the single sign-on feature alone. Right.
Yep.
So
yeah, and we've
I
seen
appreciate you guys for that. Yeah.
Simply saving time makes a huge difference.
Carlos asked, does this work for term IUL? I think that's coming out soon.
It is. You may have actually, so I'm in our staging account when I was doing the click through there. Term and IUL are both coming out very soon. IUL is first, but you would have seen our team's actually pretty close on the IUL, so you would have seen the option there. But yeah, very, very soon. Other questions on this?
Joy has raised her hand. Feel free to text your question, or if you want to unmute Joy.
Hey, Jake, thank you for showing this. I currently work as a IT consultant for products, so this is really great what you're doing. I get everything. My question is, as a new person, like I literally just got my license yesterday. So
nice.
if I go to integrity.com, just like after the fact when I'm ready to start using these systems, is it like a video tutorial anywhere on the site that I'll be able to kind of get a rundown of everything you're covering today?
Yes. So there is a video. I've got to check with the team so that I can send you a correct link. There is a video, but also in the platform here, if you click, once you register, click on your name, there's what we call the Learning Center.
Okay.
And inside here, there's going to be a lot of different, material, different thing for you to understand how things work. So new user guides, where I usually suggest, that'll explain all the primary features, what they do, how they work, everything like that. And then this right here, our training schedule, we have a trainer.
I'm not sharing your screen anymore, but.
Oh, sorry. I thought I still was.
That's okay.
I see your screen.
I don't see it.
Interesting.
I see the gallery of everybody.
Here I can reshare. Go one more time here. And how about now?
It looks like, yeah, there we go.
Okay. So up here, if you click on your name, you'll see Learning Center. If you click on that, it'll take you to this. The one I recommend is for people to do the new user guide. It'll walk you through. And then this one is our trainer schedule. So we have recurring webinars that we have a specialist that does trainings on individual features. And if you go check the schedule, if there's like, there's a feature I'd like to get to know better how it works, you can see when she might be training on it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, oh yeah, keep going. And then I'll talk about a few other things here.
So Irene asks, how will the carriers know, which carriers will we know that would do the automatic single sign-on? Is there a list of ones that will and a list of ones that don't?
Yep, the team is adding that to the Learning Center. So their carrier chart. This one, let me actually check here. They may have already added it because I just talked to them about it. One moment.
And just to give you like the tech answer, Irene, or for anybody that wants to know, because everybody's writing numbers are different with every carrier. The one thing that is the same is our national producer number, and that's how we log in. Correct, Jake? So all the carriers
NPN is universal. Yep.
Correct. So the carriers have our NPN. Integrity Life Center has our NPN. That's how they match it, and that's how we single sign on through all the cute tech stuff that they do behind the scenes.
Exactly. And I'll actually show. So they're in the process of updating that guide to show you guys ahead of time which ones are pre-fill and which ones are SSO. So that's where it will be, is in the Learning Center. So on that topic around the NPN and how that information is used. So in your account, if you come to selling permissions, you can see what products your NPN has a producer ID or a selling number, writing number for each of these carriers. So you can come in and see what's already been matched. And if there's ones that are missing, you can actually add it yourself and attest and say, yes, I am contracted for this one. And here's my producer number to be able to write for this. And it, just like you're saying, Stephen, we use this information and we single sign on to everybody, save you time there. You only have to remember one password, which is the other one that is very nice. And it's secured. So you're able to have that kind of quote enrollment back and forth with the carrier. Other questions before I jump to a couple of the other items here?
Not now.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I'm gonna kind of stay with the application here for just a second, and once those are submitted, we work with the carriers and have data feeds from many of them, because we also want to make sure whenever the carriers will allow, because it depends a little bit on the carriers and how much data they provide us, to give the policy information back to you. So you can know, did this go into effect? Did this person stay on? What else has gone on? So if you go into your contact that you've got with this policy, so I submitted it for John Connor. If I come back here, when we receive that information from the carriers, we will insert it and let you know any details about the policy that we've received. So in this case, here's a final expense one, but I've got a couple of Medicare Advantage examples, and I'm able to see, when with these ones, we didn't get it, but this is able to tell us when it was submitted, when it went into, I was just looking in the wrong spot. When it was submitted, when we receive it, we put in effect or active date as well. And the policy ID, policy holder name, and you're able to have that information so that if suddenly you've got a current policy with someone and it goes into, hey, it got canceled, it's in a previous policy now, you're able to see that and potentially reach out, follow back up with John and say, hey, what happened? Why did that go? Why did that go out? What can I do to help? And then all of those are also pulled into this dashboard. So I didn't scroll down out of the gate, but we have this policy snapshot that this it provides some insight into where the different policies are at, if they've gone into effect, if they're still pending, if any have come back as declined. And we provide all the information we get from the carriers. In some cases, that's really, really comprehensive. Mutual of Omaha gives us a lot of data, so we're able to provide a lot of insight on Mutual of Omaha. Others give us less data, and we keep pushing them for more. But it gives you some insight into what's going on. Any questions on the policy information?
So this is what I want to jump on with Jake about. That's pretty important. How many of you guys have like 17 different logins to all the carriers that we work with? Like we write policies with Moo and Americo and Trans and MM and Aetna, and we're like, holy crap, did John Smith actually issue yet? Well, the nice part is with Integrity Life Center, we can log into one spot and see our entire book right then and there, right? For those of you that know, some of our carriers have prevented us from seeing our existing book of business because they don't want you to go rewrite them with somebody else, which is perfectly fine. I totally understand that. But the nice part about Integrity Life Center is we have all our clients' data here. The calls are recorded, the text messages are through, everything's documented. It's phenomenal. It's supposed to be, and it will be, our one-stop shop for our entire life business.
Yep. And that's, I like the call out on the will be, Stephen, too, because this is one that we've put there's a lot of features plugged in here, tightly integrated, a lot of things. We're constantly adding, enhancing, improving at a very rapid rate. So any of those things that if you guys have like, hey, this isn't doing what I expect it to do or anything like that, my team is very quick at responding, enhancing, double checking, doing the research. We feel like it's an ongoing thing. It's going to always be intended to get better and better and better. So ideas, we're always looking for them. So if there's any other questions on Policy Snapshot, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna jump to something else here.
Feel free to go.
Okay, awesome. And if anyone at any time, if you have questions later, you can always send it, and we'll follow up. So I went through kind of the standard quote process with the contact, if you've loaded the record, if you're having any early conversations. But if you're kind of in a moment of, hey, I got to go quick, I just want to jump in and get rolling on this, that's what Quick Quote allows you to do. So with this, I can click Quick Quote. I can, if I've loaded the lead before or not, I can search and see if the person I'm starting, if I have a record for him. If not, I can just put the information here. I'm going to say John Connor II, and I can create them quickly, put in whatever piece of information I have on them, 6, and then jump. Oh, sorry, and do John Smith, and then jump right into the intake for the quote. So in this case, I think I'd already selected Medicare for him, but let me go turn that off. One moment. Oh, and that lets me talk about one other thing here. So obviously, what I've been walking through is all the life products, the Life Center. However, this system is also built to be multi-product. So if any of you happen to also sell any health products, Medicare Advantage, anything like that, then this will allow you to run both off of the same profile. So I can go and do a quote for final expense, do a quote for Medicare. I can do a quote for either one and have both policies get merged and integrated right in. So let me see. I'll actually go back to John Connor here. So right there, you can see I went and turned it on. I can turn it back off if I don't want it to ask me. And I can click Life Center. And then it's going to take me right into those same questions we looked at and right into a quote. So wherever I'm at on the site, if I don't want to have to go back to the contact and kind of click through it, I can just click Quick Quote and jump right in. Okay. So now to talk a little bit more about some of the other kind of features and functionality that's available to help. That's the core process I went through: get the lead in, get a quote, get the information to get a quote, do any field underwriting, get the quote submitted, and then track the policy. But we have several other features that help kind of make the work easier in general, help streamline things. One of those that Stephen kind of referenced with this phone number, the issued phone number, the nice thing as far as, you know, keeping track of things is calls made to and from that number, we will record for you and store in the system. So I can go to an individual contact and see all of my calls, but also listen to them. So if you want to have anyone help do coaching or help train you, you can pull that call and say, hey, can we sit down and listen to this? Help me understand what I did well. I didn't end up closing it. Maybe what I could have done better, or vice versa. If you're like, hey, I know you're new, I can pull a couple of calls I've done that have gone really well to give you as an example. But in addition to that, we have what we call Ask Integrity. So Ask Integrity uses that information as well as the policy information, as well as the contact information, to let you run basically shortcut summarization and information. So again, if I've had a call, I've been, you know, talking to John a couple of times, and I want to follow back up with him, but it's been a minute since I've talked to him, I can ask Integrity to provide me some information on the fly here, where this assistant will go and pull John's account and summarize it for me. So tell me his age, his birth date, where he lives, if he has any plans that are active, anything that he might have filled out, what my last interaction with him, the fact I have an overdue reminder for John, I think right here, is he's going to update his preferences. And so I can quickly say, all right, I'm going to give John a call. I don't want to read through a big block of a bunch of information and fields. I just want a quick summary. Then I can do that right here. The other great thing is if I have a phone call recorded with John, I can ask Integrity to also summarize that. And she will spit out the same thing. If it's a 20-minute phone call, I'll get about 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs of here's what you talked about, here's what you said you would do, here's what he was asking. And so, you know, in 2 requests, I can get completely caught back up on what my conversations were with John. And when I call him, I'm right on the ball and know exactly where we left off. Hey, we spoke on March 4th. I sent you an email on March 4th. I've got this call. We talked about getting you set up with Mutual of Omaha. So want to jump back on and see if we can close that out. This is also available on the mobile app, and on the mobile app includes voice. So if you're out and about driving in your car, you can hit Ask Integrity there and actually ask for these summaries on the fly and not have to look at your phone and have it.
Hi, Rachel. How can I help you?
And have it actually produce those
Tap
summaries
the
for you.
Integrity eye to start or stop listening and speaking, or use the keyboard to start typing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ask Integrity. In addition to that, we've also got the rest of kind of the core CRM functions. So if you're burning through people quickly, you know, you can use it that way. You can have the leads in here. You can change stages on the fly, say, hey, these are all my new people. You can pop in reminders real quick. You can do all this work on the list. If you've got the phone and that's a preference, I can click right here and the call get initiated and started, so I can start flipping through things quick. Otherwise, if you need to slow down for a second and have a conversation with someone and you go into their actual profile here, we're going to provide several other pieces of information and things you can do. So one of the first pages you'll see here is kind of the overview of this client. You've got memberships, which I'll talk about this one in just a sec, but you've got Legacy Safeguard. So if you want to have that conversation, get them signed up for Legacy Safeguard, use that to create referrals, then you can do so right here. Legacy Safeguard is another free product offered through Integrity. And what it is basically a service that we have people provide to help leave behind a legacy. So if someone wants this service, it gives them a piece of software where they can store and secure personal information, passwords, checking account numbers, all of that, as well as a card that we send them with a phone number and your phone number. The phone number on the back tells them if you have a situation where, someone who has a policy or has this account, if you need assistance, if you need to find out what to do, how to get in contact with the lawyer, how to get in contact with the funeral home, they can call this Legacy Safeguard number, and this service helps take care of all those things for them. You guys are able to offer that service for free, sign people up with this. It'll pre-fill a sign up for them. And then at the end of it, you can use it to ask for, is there anyone else you think that would benefit from this free service? So you may or may not have seen, there's marketing material that goes out about it from Integrity, from our founder, Brian Adams. This is a very personal one to him, but you're able to run that directly from here. Saves a bunch of time. And then like we were talking about on the dashboard, I can do, or on the contact list, I can do reminders. I can see all my activities. I can throw some notes in if I just want scratch pad notes, all of his information. We already talked about the health profile and the policies. The final one to call out here is Connect. So what Connect does is it lets you have text conversations, tracks your phone calls, and there's more coming to this soon that I won't call out, but I can communicate with John and have it track everything. So if I send a text right here, let me see what number I have on it. Yeah, if I send a text right here, then it will send a text to the number on the file. What's up, man? And when John replies, whoops, there we go. When John replies, then it will just appear in line here with his reply, so that I'm able to have that conversation back and forth with him. On the staging one here, it doesn't send it because we don't like to get extra unnecessary charges, but this conversation back and forth lets you keep track of everything. And then same with the calls. When I make a call, it's going to dial John. And then as long as he answers, it's going to connect me and let me jump on the call. And then any that are recorded, I can click download right here and get a copy of it.
Does the text messages auto include an unsub option?
So with this one, it doesn't fall under the TCPA guidance of the subscription rules, as it's not a mass message. However, okay, we're constantly in back and forth conversations with compliance and everything else. Mm-hmm. This functions a lot more like you're texting them directly from your phone.
Got it. I like it better that way anyway.
Yeah, me too. But we do. It is a very important thing with this whole system that we want to make sure if what you're using and if you're using it, that it follows FCC compliance. Mm-hmm. So I actually have a funny, you ask that. I have a call with our compliance team right after this call to talk about something unrelated to this, because we really work hard to stay on top of that with them. One other thing I'll quickly call out here, and then I'll pause for other questions, is what we call tags. So tags are a feature. If anyone's familiar with that, concept in other CRMs, it works similar, but we do a few other things with tags. But it's basically like extra information about this person, that John. And this is something that we generally work to pull in from the lead vendor's lead center. We'll pull tags and we'll put on there, hey, this came from a certain campaign or a certain partner. But you're also able to add custom tags. So you can see I've done Steelers fans as a tag on John. When I go back to my contacts list using the filter, I can filter to any of the tags that I have and have prioritized. I've got a cool people filter too, but Steelers fans, oh, John's my only Steelers fan. But I can use that custom tag to create, custom specific dialing lists, to create extra information if I want to be able to search on that or follow up on that later. And then in addition to that, like I said, we work hard to try and pre-fill as much information into tagging as we can. And so, for example, so we have it categorized into 3 buckets: campaign, which is essentially lead gen, marketing, anything we get from, how the person came in. Ask Integrity, which is our AI assistant and recommendations that we run. So we have a lot of different kind of models that we check to see how likely is this person to, need to want to change plans, or how likely are they to leave, and we'll run analytics against that. You can see some examples here that we've run on the Medicare side. And then on this campaign thing, if I click it, this one we did some shorthand, but it lets me see, oh, this person came from my personal website, my personal URL. So then I can filter for all of my people, filter on tags, oops, campaign title, where it said my personal website. So then I can see everyone that filled out the form, and that's how they got into the platform. And I'm able to, same thing, I can quickly glance here, say, okay, that's what it was, and then I can click contact. In this case, I've marked all these people as preferring email, or I only have an email for them. But if I've got phone numbers, these would all change to phone numbers, and I can just start clicking through and making those calls. Any questions on any of that before I jump to the next
thing?
have
a few questions that are going to pop up, and I wanted to remind everybody of this too. Is number one, these text and phone calls, the minutes don't cost you anything, correct, Jake?
Correct.
So unlike Ringy and GHL and all these other, right? So unlike all these other phone softwares that are out there, every time you make a text or make a phone call, they bill you per second for text message you send. So, but this software, it's completely free, which is awesome. Colton had a question. I thought it was a good one. He said, if we upload a list of contacts, will it automatically update the lead's policy details with the carrier?
In some cases it could, but generally speaking, if we got like a policy record or something, and then you uploaded the contact after the fact, our team tries to not unintentionally link something incorrectly. You can relink it, but we try to, err on the side of, hey, this might, even though James Smith, it might be James and Jim Smith and it's father and son. If that ever happens where you have a contact you created after the fact, or leads you loaded after the fact that you're like, oh, hey, I know I've got policies for them, we do still surface that for you. So if I come back to the dashboard here, I've got one called Unlinked. If I click on that, that's where we will put policies that we couldn't find the account for. And you can come back here and say, okay, well, I put everything in. I do have William Delaney's lead and history and everything. So I can just click right here and it will let me actually it'll go find any. So it'll say, let me see, I might have one that has, we do try to shortcut it and say, Toby Rapper. No, none of these millipeed. My data team that refills these for me loves to run jokes. So if we have someone who might fit it, we'll actually show you right here. And we'll say, hey, we have a Mary Pede. Do you think that's maybe a nickname or something? And you can just click and it'll associate it. Or you can create it, or you can search and say, hey, actually, I don't know why I would do this, but John Connor, that's who it is. And I can associate it to them. So we do give you the ability, if our system doesn't ever do it automatically for you, we do give you the ability to go do it.
Sweet. Now, when will our existing book of business be imported into this, or is this something that is just going to be ongoing business from here on out?
So for any of the carriers that we do have for anyone and who we are getting the files for, which that list that I called out earlier that talks about the which ones do we pre-fill, they're putting that same information in there. Here's the carriers we have and what we have from them. For any of those, we will preload it if we've got it in the data. So you come here, you can change this to all time, and it will tell you if there are any that we found for you automatically. But then from Stephen, like you said, from here forward, the ones that are done through here will all appear here. So it's like a, hey, we're gonna go see if we can find anything for you. So we're trying to save time. But if we can't, if there's, perhaps it was done with data that we haven't gotten from the carrier or whatever else, you may not see some of those. But from here forward, if you run it through here, then you'll get all of them.
Got it. That's great. So one of the other things that, dang it, a question popped up. Carlos had a great question. What are the risks of phone numbers coming up as spam likely?
So if that happens to you, sorry, I missed the
so
question.
You know how Integrity assigns a phone number to our account, right? What's the risk of that number coming up as spam likely or whatever it is? Because I remember hearing you guys talk in Salt Lake when you were saying that you guys run this through a bunch of databases to try to make sure it doesn't stay on any of those lists, correct? So
yeah, we do. We have services that we partner with to issue the number and then to also help keep it clean. And so they'll check constantly, check spam list, check all of that to keep it to actually function, just like a normal number. We do use, when you register or log in, we do use your phone number that you put in the registration to give you an area code so that it's localized for you. If that ever happens, like if you get, hey, a client or something's like, hey, I came up with spam likely, you can actually request it be either force removed or the number changed, even if you need to. But our team's very aggressive at watching and monitoring all of those heavily. And then was there another question? Since I'm in here, I'm going to show one other thing real quick too.
Yeah, please show that. But Colton wanted to follow a question on that book of business question.
Okay, let me show this real quick and then we'll jump back to the book of business. So with that phone number I mentioned, you can route the call wherever you'd like. That's done right here, forward calls to. So if I'm, sitting at my desk, maybe I have a headset and I want to be able to use a specific line that I have that attached to, I can change this to, that number. And then if I'm traveling and I want to send it to my cell phone, I generally just keep it on my cell phone. But if you do need to change it, you can. And then if you have the mobile app installed, when people call this number, you will actually get a push notification that will let you click and go straight into the, if it's a person you have, straight into the record. If not, straight into the application. So it helps you keep on top of stuff. And then this is the website that we issue you. We have a brand that we use that's the consumer brand. We take it through all the same kind of levels and focus on compliance as we do anything else. So we want to make sure if you share it around, it's following compliance with any of the carrier rules or anything like that. And that will pull up a version of the Plan Enroll website that we have a national version too, that is personalized to me. And it's going to make me actually reshare my screen. 1 second. Chrome tab, Plan Enroll. So this link pulls up my personal site. So it has my name on it, my NPN, my information. And then you guys saw me turn Medicare back on. If I go turn it off, this disappears, but it will let a prospect or a client actually use all of my information on writing and things, and they can actually run quotes on here. So it's a really, really useful thing to let them, you can distribute it and let them do a little bit of self-service that then lets you follow up and they're pre-qualified to a degree. It's like, hey, I sent you this. Did you get a chance to go look at the options? There's also content on here. Oh, no. Well, let me walk you through some. Yes. What kind of things, like, did you have carriers that stood out to you, or did it help you dial in your preferences? It gives you something to use to follow up and to engage people. And then finally, and then I'll jump back to the policies thing. If you have a prospect, they can just fill out a form on here to actually, just contact you, which we plug that form in, all over the place. Contact Jake. Contact Jake right here. I click that, and you saw I had my phone number. If I fill out this form, then it creates a lead for me in the CRM, and I can just follow right up right here. However, we also allow any one of the prospects or clients you have, if they choose, and if you want to direct them to, they can create an actual account. And so that's a little different than just filling out a form, because filling out a form, what it does is it takes me, it just makes me a lead. It puts me in the system. If I create an account, which you can see this one, I was partway through an intake. But if I create an account, it will actually let the client come back to it later, and we put in any of the information that you or they have captured. So once my life plan goes into effect, that will be inserted here. So I'll see my Mutual of Omaha plan as James, this client. If I have Legacy Safeguard, same thing. It will actually give me my member ID and information, and I can click over from here. And then it's going to keep track of, in this case, I turned both of these on for my account, but it's going to keep track of, hey, I would love to help you with a health policy. Here's some steps that might help get things more accurate ahead of time. And same with life, where I can take them through adding health conditions, updating it. They see my information in both cases here because I'm the option for both. And then all of this information gets updated and maintained in their record here, so they can see when the changes were made. They can make the changes directly. It also saves it to their contact record in your CRM. So if they come and fill out, give you their health conditions, all of that, then that information is going to update in the CRM, and you will both see a tracker here that says, hey, client James Smith added health condition. And then if you have a call with them and you add one, they'll see agent Jake Davis added a health condition. So that transparency helps with any of those people who, if your primary interaction with them is on the phone, which is a lot, this being able to send your personal website that can have your picture on it, a little bit about you, and your picture appear here for them. And as you have this back and forth, this all updates. They're huge trust building things. They overcome a lot of kind of initial concern or hesitance that people have by creating that kind of human connection. When the scenario works that you have time to do so. Otherwise, like I was talking about with the list, you can set up and just go quick. Like Stephen, you guys are at a lock-in. So you won't necessarily do all these things but they're available. So what was the question that I kind of...
Colton's follow-up question was, can you clarify that? Will our book of business be in the system with those certain carriers, or do we have to upload the contacts first for that to happen?
So your policy book of business for the certain carriers will be auto-grabbed, whether the contact is in there or not. So we'll go say, hey, here's this agent's NPN. Look at all the carrier records we get that have that NPN as agent of record. And if we don't have any contacts, we're going to put it in that unlinked for you and say, hey, here's all of these. If you'd like to create contacts for them, you can. Otherwise, here's the list of all the ones we found.
Now, when is that actually effective, or is it already in there?
It would be, so if anyone has registered with Lead Center in the past or clicked through to Lead Center, it's probably in there now. Otherwise, it's the first time you register. When we get the NPN, we go check.
Got it. Joy had a question about, can we load existing lists of leads? Yes, that's you mass import the leads into there. That's easy.
Right.
One of the things that I will say, because I know a lot of you guys on this call use different types of phone systems, right? Like some of you guys use Go High Level, some of you guys use Ringy, whatever it is. Jake and his team will literally integrate that system to Integrity Life Center. So what happens is, let's say, some of you guys generate your own leads and John Smith comes through as a lead in your Go High Level or your Ringy or whatever you want to use. And now what happens is you're on the phone with him and then you want to quote him. Well, you can go to Life Center and literally type in that client's name, that's a lead, and his profile is basically pre-filled. And you can literally quote and do the app from there.
Yep. We're doing those integrations. Sweet. We're actually also in the process. I was talking to, I blanked on his name, the gentleman that was sitting by us yesterday, Stephen. We're actually also in the process of adding directly to make it accessible to you guys, to actually connect any APIs yourselves. So if you're familiar or comfortable with it in GHL or anything, we're going to be rolling that out to where you'll have the key and you can just connect it that way. So
awesome.
We do it ourselves right now. We're in the process of putting it in everyone else's hands.
Got it. We have a few minutes before we wrap up. Jake, some of these people that, they might get that error code that we got yesterday, right? Where if you guys can't log into Integrity Clients Life Center and you do the live chat, they're going to be like, hey, you work with Family First Life, go back to them or whatever it is. Just ask them to hard reset the password right then and there, and they'll do it. Make your life easier.
Yeah. So that was really helpful, because what's happening is if you guys originally created or came from the portal, the Gateway FFL portal, and if you've forgotten your password or anything like that, we SSO, but we treat it a little different. So that shortcut of here's what to say to our team.
And so, and the other thing is, and this is something that's going to come from Andrew and myself, and I'm saying this to all the guys on the team, like everybody has a bunch of ideas. Trust me, we know. Mm-hmm. How about we use this first and actually get the user and the data and all that stuff up for Integrity. And as we build their user base, then we'll send more stuff for them to do. Like, we were in Salt Lake and people were like, well, can you do this? Can you do this? We're like, yes. But how about you use it first?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the last thing we want Integrity to do is to spend millions upon millions of dollars for this tech. And it's like, nobody's using it. Like, we can talk about the Medicare side, Jake. How many people are on Medicare Center? 850,000, something like that?
So we have 650,000 policies were run last year alone. And we've run 1.65 million over the course of just the last couple of years.
Right.
So it's got quite a bit flowing through. It's the same, and it's actually, you saw me turn it on and off. It's the same platform. It's just the quoting options that you turn on and off. So we have, we have, I want to say 9 or 10 million plus completed complete profiles that people go through the whole flow. So, yeah,
that's awesome. Jake, last thing, if they want to get a hold of Integrity support, you guys, your staff, what's a good email or whatever it is that they can shoot out to if you get stuck with something or they have a question that, one of us can't answer, or I can't answer, I should say. What's a good email address or, who's a good person of contact for them to reach out to? If you can drop that in the chat for them.
Yep. So the fastest thing to do is to do the live chat. We have people monitoring that constantly. And if you need to escalate it, that's how we treat it. So, like, if you need to escalate it, I can give you guys a couple of options there. Ooh, there's lots of comments. I can look and see if there's any I need to answer there. I forgot. Sorry, Stephen. I forgot one other kind of big feature. If I can take 30 seconds on it.
Absolutely.
So the one other thing, we called out kind of the direct communication stuff, but this also has, and right now we're really focused on a version of it that's meant to be simple, straightforward, not difficult to get started with, but we do marketing out of the platform. So I didn't click on it, but if I go over here to marketing, any of these leads, these records, the same filter options I have here, if I come over here to marketing, I can create email and SMS messaging out of here using pre-built compliant templates. So you can see I put example and test campaigns a lot, but I'll do another one. I click create. And then it takes me through a very simple, what are you trying to accomplish? I want to send an email. What are you trying to do with that email? And then we have these pre-built templates to choose from. So thank a client for enrolling in a life policy, to call or text me, to wish happy birthday. I like to use the call or text me. It's a good catch-all useful one. And then I can click to, and it lets me select a contact, all contacts, or contacts filtered by. And I can do things like stage. I just want to send it to my new leads, people who haven't responded or I haven't been able to talk to. And then I click save here, click preview, and it's using that same consumer brand because it gives a link to your personal agent website so that they can go fill stuff out or create an account, but it'll let me hit send on an email that gets delivered to the list, 25 contacts here. And then if I go back to my ones I've run before, you can see how many it was delivered to, how many opened it, how many clicked it, and I can actually click on this directly, and it will go filter it and tell me here's who clicked that email. So then I can give them a call and say, hey, I saw you clicked the email I sent you. Just wanted to jump on and make sure we've got everything you need.
That's great.
And yeah, we're always adding to that one too. That one's a pretty new feature that we've rolled out, but we've already had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of messages kind of flowing through it. So
awesome. Well, Jake, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for hopping on. Guys, the best way for you guys to understand and be comfortable with how to use this software is to literally go test it, play with it, use it, demo it, get comfortable with it. So by the time you actually have a live client, live sale, you're not foreign to it. And it's actually very easy to use. Like Trey Honeycutt and I were just talking about it. We're like, Go High Level is awesome because of what it can do, but it's intimidating as hell. With how simple you guys have made the user interface for Integrity clients, like you have to like really botch it to not make this thing work. You know what I mean? So like we appreciate the user interface and user experience that you guys have created for us. And Jake, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. And as we roll out more stuff, we'll get Jake on. But the best thing we can do, guys, is to be able to use it, get the feedback, and that's the stuff that they're going to do. Like if you log into a carrier or you can do the underwriting and you're like, hey, that's actually wrong. That's the feedback they can use. But if you go, hey, man, I think you should create this, but by the way, I don't use your product. It's like, dude, come on. Right. So, Jake, thank you. We're excited for everything you do for us at Integrity. And, if we can ever do anything, let us know. But, guys, let's make it a great week. We'll see you tomorrow with Brent Abernathy at 10 o'clock Pacific. And let's make it a great one. Talk to you soon.